This is you. Maybe better, maybe worse. But how do we stop being like this? Farming is so hard and brings so many questions. Like, when should I farm? How should I farm? Are there patterns to follow, or should I just wing it? I'll answer all of that and give you the tools to farm like an immortal in any game. But to get there, we need to practice, and I'll be focusing on one in particular that will bring your farming from this to this in just a few runs. The best practices for getting better at farming are last hit training in the training polygon, 1v1 solo mid, especially with somebody who's better than you. Just go into any Dota Discord and ask someone to 1v1 you, chances are they're better than you. The best farming practice, because of its versatility and focus, is the Cookie Challenge. Put briefly, the Cookie Challenge is a challenge to get 900 CS in an empty lobby in 30 minutes. This might seem like a waste of time, but there is no better way to learn farming than this, because every other method lacks in several ways, and the benefits of this method are many. I'll go through these quickly. First, knowing where a creep wave is at any given moment is really important for cutting, pushing, and allows you to do stuff like this, where I pulled the enemy wave into the jungle camps twice to farm both at the same time. Heroes like Axe, Primal, and Sand King can all do this really well. Doing stuff like this has made my last hitting way better in any situation, whether CSing against enemy heroes, allied heroes, contesting pulls, or even under tower. The next three go together because they're mostly the same thing in this context. Without time awareness, you'll never be able to stack like this and meet the wave in time just to kite back into the jungle as you farm to get another 2 camps before the minute ends. For right-click heroes, it doesn't matter as much because you reach a point where Blink and Cleave will kill most camps instantly, but if you're trying to farm as a spellcaster, both mana and health matter a lot. Here's 2 runs side by side where I had good and bad mana management. The top one is my best run on Necro so far at nearly 750. Very hard to do on spell heroes because you need so much more gold. The bottom one is hands down my worst. You can see the difference. Forcing your brain to think with no downtime while farming is one of the most important things you can do. This is probably the most valuable thing that the Cookie Challenge has to offer. If you look at high MMR gameplay, the only thing different between an Immortal and a Divine is the speed at which they do things, likewise with Divine and Ancient, and so forth. The Cookie Challenge and understanding these rules has helped me a lot in my games, but do take into consideration that these rules are here to help you decide what to do in the next 30 to 60 seconds and don't really consider macro. You should always understand when you are strong and able to fight or create pressure instead of just AFK farming. Speaking of AFK farm, there should never be a point in your games where you as a carry are truly AFK. Pushing waves into the enemy or taking effective fights with your power spikes and ult are both very effective ways to farm efficiently while being useful for your team. Positioning doesn't really matter in the Cookie Challenge, so I won't say anything about it, but Kizu and Jenkins both have great videos about it, so go watch those to master all of farming beyond the Cookie Challenge. I have 3 rules for the Cookie Challenge. If you do all 3, you'll be able to get 600 to 900 CS every single time, depending on the hero. All these rules apply to your own games as well, boosting your farm and giving you the ability to hit those early game timings when this is most important. The first is creep priority. When I first started, I looked at creeps as all the same and thought CS was the most important number. But if you really want to boost your farm rate and get early farm items to hit that golden 40 CS per minute, you need to focus on creeps that are, first of all, high value and second, time efficient. For this reason, the creep priority for 80% of heroes is this. Lane creeps are number 1 by far, the best gold source and very easy to kill, 1 to 2 spells for most heroes. Large camp are second, sitting at 40 gold less than Ancients or lane creeps. It's more valuable than Ancients because of the time, unless you're prioritizing levels. Then Ancients, worth the same as creep waves, but harder to kill. They're definitely worth it if you can kill them quickly with the likes of Anti-Mage, Luna, or Ursa, but I usually stay away from them as Necro or other spell heroes, and always do when I hit my 40 CS per minute timing and just want to fly and get as close to 900 as possible. Medium camps are next at 80 gold, then small camps, being worth barely more than a single range creep, offer the most annoying debuffs out of all the camps. They have a lot of creeps, so barely are worth the time. Yes, I'm looking at you, Gary. We hate you. You're an asshole. Then stacking. Stacking is a great way to ramp up CS and gold, but not widely known that stacking can actually be bad more often than expected. Whenever you stack a camp, the new creeps have a permanent debuff that makes them only 85% the value of normal creeps, effectively making them as valuable as a tier below: ancients to large, large to medium, and medium to small. The stacker gets 30% of the gold and experience if somebody else farms it, making that camp worth 115% total for the team. But if they farm it, they only get 85% of the value. Therefore, the rules for stacking in the cookie challenge are really simple. If you can't kill it, stack it. If you can kill it, kill it. In real games, you can add a third. If you won't kill it, stack it. For most heroes, this is really easy to manage. You just kite back as you kill it, and if you kill it by the minute mark, great. But if not, also fine. For melee heroes, it's a bit harder, but as a rule of thumb, I'd stack it until you can 1 to 2 shot the camp. I can't talk about efficiency without movement. This is way deeper than I thought at first glance, but I'll break it down for you in the easiest way I can. Movement is the single most valuable skill to master for farming efficiency. Moving from camp to camp efficiently makes or breaks your GPM and wins or loses games. Luckily for you, I did the math. Here's your efficiency cheat sheet, as well as approximate times for every camp to any other camp. This is where farming patterns come in, that take you from camp to camp so that you get the most gold in a minute. I won't be highlighting these for you, just giving you rules to follow and a diagram to make your own patterns based on your own games, because farming patterns only work in a vacuum. Rule number 1, if the line is green, walk it. Rule number 2, if the line is orange, use your speed buff, but if you don't have it, don't worry. Rule number 3, if the line is red, blink across it. Most of these are red because of the terrain. Rule number 4, if the line is black, ignore it, unless there's a creep wave and ideally another one coming. If you implement all these rules in the cookie challenge, you'll easily get a respectable record. And if you implement it in a game, you'll boost your GPM and win rate immensely. If you like this content, please engage with it however you see fit, and go try out the cookie challenge. Put your records as often as you wish into the survey below so I can make better content for you in the future. And as always, I appreciate feedback or criticism. Thanks for watching.